Hold on to your butts, indie warriors, because this week brings us a slew of new indie and AA releases, led by a brand new tactical game that has managed to garner a massive number of followers and wish lists. So massive, in fact, that we're making an exception by including an early access game. But that's not all, as a long-forgotten destructive car combat franchise is back, and fans of Hotline Miami that have been thirsty for more blood may just have that craving satiated. You sickos. All of that and so much more on this episode of The Dream Drop. Greetings one and all, and welcome to I Dream of Indie Games. I'm Scrambled Ashton, and these are all of the exciting games dropping into the indie scene for the week of February 2nd through the 8th of 2026. If you love what we do, and you should, because who in their right mind wants to gather this many games into one massive video on a weekly basis? Well, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, head over to patreon.com/I Dream of Indie Games to gain access to perks like live VOD replays of yours truly, this show early, and ad and sponsor free. And there is so much more over there. But best of all, say it with me now, you're supporting indie visibility. Voice to the voiceless. Starting things off with that intensely wishlisted tactical release, Menace, which will be causing chaos on the 5th, coming to Steam PC, whilst also being available on PC Game Pass. Interestingly, this game isn't listed as early access on the official Steam page, but that does appear to be how it will be starting out. Way to mislead us, devs. I suppose I can find it in my heart to forgive Overhyped Studio if the game delivers on its promises. Players will take control of an elite task force who must ward off aliens, prepare for layered systems, deep RPG mechanics, a seemingly endless number of tanks and mechs to choose between, and deep turn-based battles that will have you clenching together your butt cheeks ever so firmly. You can add this one to your collection on the 5th, and I promise, no more early access games for the rest of the list. If you've ever seen one of my streams, shameless plug, you can watch me here every Tuesday at 2 PM EST live, then you know I like to yap. And so it seems natural that I would be interested in checking out YapYap dropping on the 3rd. You and 4 other friends will team up as a group of minions to destroy various towers guarded by monsters. In order to do so, it's imperative that you cast various spells, or, shit on the floor. Okay, I'm not making that one up. Well, okay, I sort of am, because the Steam page says you can clog the toilet and pee on the floor. But pee, poo, what's the real difference at that point? If anything, the turd would be easier to clean. Be a vandal and degenerate in this odd-looking indie release launching early this week. It's a bird! It's a plane! It's motion sickness. Take to the skies like never before in Aces of Thunder, an immersive VR aerial combat game designed to be so immersive that you'll forget you're in your living room and potentially fall off the couch. Not to be confused with Arses of Thunder, a much different game. Aces of Thunder aims for realism, recreating historically accurate planes and soaring you across 15 different maps. Plus, if that weren't enough, there's online air battles and open XR support. See you in the skies on the 3rd. Seemingly out of nowhere, the Carmageddon series is back, with Carmageddon Rogue Shift driving onto digital platforms on the 6th. Gear up for a good time as this vehicular combat series that dates back to the 90s returns with updated visuals, tons of zombies, 15 different upgradable cars, 13 weapon classes, bosses, and more. While it's sad that the Twisted Metal series has been more or less dead for ages, it's nice to see Carmageddon at least attempt to revitalise the car combat genre once more. And this doesn't seem to be a cash grab either, as plenty of love and care has apparently gone into offering players lots of different modes and options. 90s kids and car combat fans alike will want to put pedal to the metal on the 6th. Now we have one for you Hotline Miami lovers out there. And no, we don't have an announcement regarding Hotline Miami 3, but at least developers like Transhuman Design are keeping the spirit of the series alive with its releases like Jackal launching on the 5th. The title even sounds like Jacket, a callback to Hotline Miami, though that's probably just a coincidence. Taking place in a variety of casino hotels during the 70s, get ready to paint the town red as you carefully navigate rooms blasting down foes with an assortment of different weapons. Bash them over the head, gun them down, give them atomic wedgies so hard that it rips through their tighty whities. Whatever it takes to survive. These stylish visuals, challenging gameplay and visceral finishing moves will drop your jaw to the ground. It's a blood-fueled revenge tale like no other that fans of that game that I shan't mention again will want to pay close attention to. Boo-hoo-hoo! There are so many indie games releasing that look amazing and I will never have the time to play them all. This pixel art adventure doesn't look all that sad really, offering up a massive world full of dungeons, challenging combat, tough baddies, weapons and non-linear exploration. Classic pixel art is also on full display, and it looks so retro, you'll be tempted to play on CRT TV, though sadly I don't think HDMI existed back then. The 2D top-down view harkens back to the good old Zelda days, and with tough bosses and hours of gameplay, Tearscape shall bring gamers tears of joy when it releases on February 2nd. It's time now for our weekly big titty anime cyborg girl game. Yay! Punishing Grey Raven promises a bouncy good time on the 2nd, featuring all of the usual tropes. Though it does look rather stylish. Work with a team of booby babes as you look to unravel the mystery behind a virus that is destroying civilization. Outside of a dark, brooding story and intense combat scenarios, there's actually a bit of a cozy element to the game, with players able to do some home renovating and decorating. Learn to parry and dodge if you hope to survive in this tit-elating experience, coming to us from Kuro Games. It's simply the breast game on this list, no ifs, ands or buts. Let's head back to the oh so memorable year of 2018. You know, the year I don't remember anything about. Well, I suppose we all remember the Tide Pod challenge. That was a brilliant idea. In Unemployment Simulator 2018, you'll head back to the unremarkable year in search of a job. Why? Because as the title implies, you're unemployed. Get through each day living in your single bedroom apartment as you try to stop yourself from becoming utterly bored. Keep your mental health in check, learn to cook, make sure you don't clog the toilet, and watch reruns of Lost. Just skip the last few seasons. We all know those are terrible. If you're a fan of this channel, first of all, thank you for being here. And secondly, you know that we recently featured Hermit and Pig on our list of 10 upcoming RPGs that have us excited about 2026. Well, I am pleased to report that the game is now launching on the 5th. This warped take on the Earthbound formula features the series' signature sense of humour, a cartoonish, simple art style, and mushrooms. Lots and lots of mushrooms. A key combo combat system helps the game feel fresh when compared to other RPGs, and believe it or not, the game even touches on themes of mental health, particularly dealing with anxiety. RPG lovers looking for something a little different would do well to add this one to their wish lists at the very least. I've loved matching gems ever since Puzzle Fighter hit the scene. You know, the greatest puzzle game ever made. Okay, fine, that's subjective, but Anthem number 9 does look every bit as addicting. Get ready to match together different gems to create epic combos and activate skills which will leave your opponent's head spinning. Create an epic deck of your own in this stylish mix of strategy and speed, releasing on the Steam PC platform on the 4th. Match 3 games have never looked so sleek. No, this is not a Batman game. But the Dark Rites of Arkham does look every bit as dark and brooding. In this mystery adventure, two detectives join forces to find a connection between the Salem witch trials and the end of humanity itself. Life's a witch, and then you die. Expect classic point-and-click gameplay with tricky-dicky puzzles, 90 different pixel art backgrounds, and a story that thematically borrows from the works of Lovecraft, amongst others. At least point-and-click your way over to the Steam page and add this one to your wishlist if you happen to be a fan of the genre. Alright, Indie Warriors, before we continue on with this list of releases for the week, we have one more headed your way from our amazing indie sponsor for this episode, who helped make this show possible. It's Luminas' Parasite Reign, coming Q1 2026 from Soto Game Studio and participating in the upcoming Steam Next Fest with an exclusive demo. This fast-paced, frantic party-based survivor roguelite is about to eat up all of your free time. If you love indie games that offer up sheer chaos and fun, this is the release for you. In Luminas, you can control multiple characters at once, with each of these characters having separate skill trees, evolution abilities, and playstyles of their own. Work together to take down wave after wave of enemies known as parasites. Maps are procedurally generated, with every run feeling different from the last. And the amount of build variety? Insane. In between battles, you can head back to the village hub area where gear can be powered up, buy new items, make your characters stronger, and dive back into roguelite chaos at the blink of an eye. Even better, the game is fully playable on Steam Deck, meaning you can take the action on the go, even onto the toilet. Admit it, you've done it before, we all know it. And yes, while the game will initially launch into early access, the roadmap is completely stacked. More maps are in the works, better spell effects, balancing improvements, and even a full quest system are on the way. If it sounds awesome so far, that's because it is. So what are you waiting for, Indie Warriors? Please use the link in our description box below to add Lumina's Parasite Reign onto your wishlist. And don't worry, you won't have to wait long to try it for yourself, with the Steam Next Fest demo going public very soon. And for those of you who aren't into demos, the full release will be arriving in Q1 of this year. Wishlist now and get ready to dive into an awesome roguelite where strategy, party management and quick thinking are your only chance of survival. But fine, you know what time it is, back to the indies. Love is in the air with this 8-bit inspired release coming from Labs Works. It's Lovish, just in time for Valentine's Day. This title is broken up into various little levels that offer platforming challenges to conquer and crowns to collect. You are on a quest to rescue a princess whom you believe will fall in love with you without question. Yeah, that's how real life works, buddy. Lovish features gorgeous 8-bit retro visuals, simplified gameplay, and a hard-hitting chiptune soundtrack that should have fans of the NES era very excited. Plus, it's coming to us from the same team that brought us the much-loved Astalon, Tears of the Earth. Find out if we fell in love with this release ourselves, as coverage will soon be available right here on the channel. Ugh, I love the colour palette of this next potential indie gem. It's Sector Zero, drenched in black and white with a mix of reds. Gorgeous. It's a physics puzzler set in a sci-fi world where you get to control a small fraction of some sort of unknown entity. Now, if that doesn't sound like science fiction, I don't know what does. Unravel the mysteries of miners as you dodge turrets, lasers, and other dangers en route to survive. This puzzle game looks to be coming from a solo dev, or at least a very small team. But you know what they say, good things come in small packages. At least that's what I tell, never mind. The title of this next game annoys me, as I hate the thought of losing one of my precious fur babies, but I do fancy some rock and roll, so maybe I can forgive the poor wording. Join Gordy and her band of misfits in this musical adventure that combines demons, feminism, management, and rhythm game elements into one weird, oddly endearing indie game. With its punk rock soundtrack, slew of minigames, and choices that matter, Dead Pets, a punk rock slice of life sim, might be a mouthful, but I could see it rising to #1 on the charts in no time. Let's engage in some dialogue next, or D1 Al Og. Yeah, let's go with that. Oh, and yay, more anime cyber girls! Being described as a repair narrative puzzle game, you will run diagnostics on your cyber babe to fix her up as good as new. As you're working, more of the narrative reveals itself, making for a rather unique gaming experience unlike any other. I mean, how many cyborg repair games have you played? Puzzles take place on a circular grid and the visuals harken back to the late 90s PC games. Those who seek something a bit out of left field should dial into this release on the 5th. Do you prefer digital or analog? I could go for either, but when it comes to horror, analog is rather nice. The reason I bring this up is because our next release is Heaven Does Not Respond. Did you try sending an email? Or maybe Heaven's inbox is full. Jokes aside, this game takes place in an alternate 2005 where you get to control an agent tasked with unmasking files on an old school computer. This leads down a deeper, darker web of mysteries. Unravel them for yourself this week, or on the 6th to be precise. I've heard of going overboard, but I can't say I've been underboard too often. Looks like I will get my opportunity now with the release of Underboard on February 6th. The art here does look a bit mad in what is a tactical roguelike auto-battler. You'll need to pair together the best combinations of characters to survive waves of monsters and build strong connections. There's tons of spells, items and secrets to unravel in your attempt to escape the Underboard. Best of luck to you. Have you ever seen one of those trailers where nothing happens? I mean, quite literally, because in the trailer for Fadeland Fight Clubs, the character just stands still for 1 minute and 7 seconds. At the least, the Steam page does include some info on the game, as it appears to be an open world fighter with a focus on melee combat. There's weapons, collectibles, and even RPG elements. But maybe you gain levels by standing still? Yeah, that must be it, right? Decide whether you want to run, pass or boot this next game. Tackle for Loss is just in time for the Super Bowl. This 2D retro pixel art game features top-down action in a football setting. Gain kill streaks, unlock new skills and enjoy blazing fast 90 FPS action. You can tackle and spike foes into oblivion on the 5th. Hut hut hike! Right? That's American football. I'm English, I don't know. It also comes to us from a solo developer, so while it's all a bit cheesy, I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me smile looking at the trailer. If you felt left out when Tavern Manager Simulator came out on other platforms but not PlayStation, well then pull up a stool because it's time for you to grab yourself a pint on the old PS. Restore and manage a tavern on your own, cooking up delicious dishes and serving up enticing drinks to keep patrons coming back for more. You'll need to make sure you keep popular items stocked and keep up the quality of your offerings so you don't end up with a terrible Yelp review. Not really, I made that last part up, but it does seem like a fun management sim to pass the time with, and it has very positive reviews over on Steam for what it's worth. Don't make a party foul and check this one out when it arrives on PlayStation on the 5th. I'm not ashamed to admit I'm a sucker for FMV games, so this next title is instantly intriguing to me. PRM Games is releasing horror-themed The Run on February 5th, and you're not going to believe what it's about. That's right, you're going to be playing as a famous fitness influencer who is on the run from a killer. Who would have thought? Make choices that impact the outcome of the story and determine whether our protagonist lives or dies. The Run has a pretty stacked cast as well, featuring actors from Game of Thrones, Vikings and more. I know I'll be lacing up my trainers for this one. Zombies, zombies, and more zombies. HumanitZ is finally launching out of early access on the 6th into version 1.0. This co-op survival game in an open world environment has been in early access since September of 2023, so it has had plenty of time to marinate in those delicious zombie juices, and now it is time for you to survive the hordes after the outbreak. Do you have what it takes to survive off of the land and save humanity as we know it? The world is counting on you. Enjoy single player or co-op, And there's even some crafting elements, so you need to keep your brains in your head and your wits about you. So that is it for the indie and AA games releasing this week. But let us know in the comments if you're picking any of these ones up or if you've got anything else on your radar. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video for more, and check out our Patreon if you'd like to support us. We'll see you all next week with more indie games.